is the Investor Connect podcast program. This is Hall T. Martin. I'm the host of the show, in which we interview angel investors, venture capital, private equity, family offices, and many other investor groups for startups and growth companies. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Angie. Thanks for joining. Yes, thanks for taking time to talk.
Yay.
Looking forward to catching up. You're there in South Africa?
Yes.
Oh, great. Afrikaans is very much like Flemish. So, yeah. But anyway, good to catch up with you.
Yeah. Great timing and all that.
Well, great. Well, I understand you're raising funding for a construction project in the U.S. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And it sounded like you were going to set up a U.S. legal entity and so forth for it. So that sounded reasonable to me as well. We find U.S. investors really want, U.S. legal entities for these things. And if the project's in the U.S., that's even better as well. And people can be from anywhere doing it for sure. So anyway, tell me more about it.
Okay, so we want to make housing affordable and reachable for anybody and everybody. We've developed, or rather, I've developed a design that incorporates clean water, clean energy, sewage removal, everything in one house. So you get the whole off-grid experience in one thing. The current state is pre-startup because I'm only idea phase currently. Need money to move forward to just the business and everything else. So I can get funding, I can move forward with that, register my patent and all that important stuff. So that's where I'm currently at.
Great. Well, tell me more about the project itself. What's the purpose of the facility and what are the details about it?
Okay, so firstly, I'm not thinking of it's a given. I spoke to a person about buying his company that's been in existence for over 40 years. He's retiring, which would make it easier for me to scale because they have the equipment and everything ready at the go, plus a government backlog. They currently build pavements and roads and that sort of thing. So we'll do that until my patent for the houses and such is cleared and everything. And then we'll move forward with that in phase 2, building the houses, getting the first prototype built to see if everything checks out as it should, adjusting as needed, that sort of thing.
Is this affordable housing or is there a particular type of housing you're building?
No, it's affordable housing. Like
Okay.
I said, it's supposed to be worldwide and accessible to everybody.
Okay. So I find that there's two kinds of affordable housing. One is truly affordable housing, which gets you certain tax breaks in the US. And then there's housing that, like tiny homes, where it's technically not getting you a tax break for affordable housing, but it is for teachers, firemen, policemen, and so forth, where you just need workforce people to be, have a decent place to
We'll be
live near
catering to
work.
both.
Okay, it's
Both
both.
you just mentioned. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We'll have a variety of houses to choose from, which would be pre-designed, so to speak. And then we will have the ones you design yourself, like add 4 rooms, add 10 bedrooms, or whatever you choose to do.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. So how much are you trying to raise at this point?
Well, the South African government is kind of a jerk, so they're putting limitations on the first amount that I can receive in South Africa. So that would be 58,000. And then after that, I can fundraise because I'm planning to register the business, open the bank account, and everything with that money received. And then after I receive that and open the bank account, I can fundraise for the second part, which would be 30 million in the US then, and
Okay.
continue with that money in the US account because they are not that big jerks about that sort of thing. So that's where I'm currently at with that.
And are you putting in the 58,000 yourself or no?
I can't afford to. I'm unfortunately a victim of the South African situation, which means I'm unemployed. Current income is less than $20 a month. So that's a little bit problematic and dramatic.
I got you. Okay. So do you have any investors in South Africa interested in doing this for 58,000? It doesn't seem like that's a lot of money.
In South African money, that's just over 1 million. And no, they are not interested because I'm looking at registering the business in America. They all go like, yeah, no, it's not going to benefit us in any way, shape, or form. So no, we're not interested.
I
So
got
that's why I started reaching out to American investors and see if they want to maybe invest.
What's been the response so far? What have people told you?
Well, one of the guys that I actually spoke to, he said, what you're doing now, also copy that over to Canada. So make sure whatever you're doing, you can do that in Canada as well. I said, okay, but why? He said, so that if you're scaling, you can automatically move international without too much hassle or effort. I said, okay. So I began researching for Canada for pre-existing companies that wants to shut down, that have equipment and everything, like the one in the US. And also they merged some deals and stuff. So once I have adequate funding, I can do both Canada and America, which would make scaling to other parts also easier then apparently. I haven't gotten to that part of research. Apparently, that would make scaling to other international parts way easier because I'm already in Canada and US. So I can currently fundraise in both New York and Canada, but my head office would be in New York.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, it sounds like we need to find some New York investors. So it seemed like that would be the next step. And what's been the challenge there so far when you done that?
Well, not answering emails, not
Mm.
responding back. I've emailed, I think, close to maybe 4,000 investors already, and I just never hear anything back. All the ones that do reply back always say, you're too early, reach out at a later point when you're seeking Series A funding or whatever. So there's that problem. So I don't know, that warm introduction thing currently seems to be the main stop point for me.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, I mean, we can help you find investors interested in your deal. Do you have a pitch deck that you built on this thing?
Yes, I do. I can forward it over to you once we're done with the call. I can forward you the pitch deck, no problems.
Do you have anybody in the US that's attached to this deal, or is it purely just you at this point?
No, it's currently just me. I am planning to appoint a whole array of people once everything is up and running. I'm one of those people that firmly believe it's unfair for me to appoint you in a post that I'm not currently sure is going to happen. So you'll be working for me, but you'll be basically working for charity because there's nothing involved. So I'm a firm believer in get everything in place, then appoint a person in said position and move forward from there.
Right. Okay. I find it's helpful to show that you have support around you. You're not all by yourself. One of the things I find in fundraising is at heart, it's a support building exercise. When you do a fundraise campaign, you go and you put money in, that means you're supporting it. Your family puts money in, that means they're supporting it. Your friends put money in, that's supporting it. You have partners putting money in, that's supporting it. You have people that are going to use the product putting money in, we call them customers, but they're supporting this. And so you kind of show that there's all the support. And one of the best ways to do that in the pitch deck is to put logos of companies up there, logos that represent people or things that are in this to show how they're supporting this in some way, shape, and form. We get into crowdfunding campaigns, and that's one way to do it is to show I went and did a crowdfunding campaign on a portal and I got this much money out of it. That means that's usually 100 new investors that are coming in to support it. So once we get some level of money coming in, oftentimes people say, I've got these other investors that will come in when we get to this next level. And so putting them in helps a lot, especially if they have a fund or whatever, you put the logo of their fund on it. What level of support do you have, down the road that once you get the initial work done, they'll be coming in later, if any?
Like I said, there's 2 or 3 companies, which I can't remember the names of currently, that said to reapproach them once I reach Series A funding.
Okay.
So I can always reach back out to them and approach them and ask them if they'll come back now and invest now. But as for starters, I've opened the not GoFundMe, what's the other one? Anyway, I opened one of those and I'm not getting traction. I know I'm not good at that sort of thing. I know nothing about marketing.
Well,
So
if you're doing a crowdfunding campaign, Start Engine, WeFunder, Republic, whatever, what you really need is a very large database. You just have to go out to a lot of people. And my rule is 10,000. If you have 10,000 names on a database, you can run a meaningful campaign. You may not get $5 million, maybe not even get $1 million, but you get 50, 100, 200K, something like that. You typically get that out of it at some point. How big was your database?
0, I started from ground. I have no idea where to find those people. I've asked around and everybody goes, you need to pay for this, you need to pay for that, you need to pay for marketing, you need to, and I don't have the money to do that. So
Okay.
there's block again. So that's hard.
Right, right. So that's the issue with crowdfunding is you do need to have a fairly substantial list of people to go through on this point, and if you don't, it's going to be hard from making it work. Now, the thing you can do is if you have your own personal network and you can mail out to some number of people, zero is kind of tough. You can actually put this on your own website is what a lot of people do. They go out and they just, instead of paying, be on a portal. The key thing to remember is no matter what portal you choose, you're doing 99% of the work. You're going to be doing 99% of the fundraise. They're doing the regulatory and they're giving you a little bit of support with their network, but there's so many deals going through. You're really not going to get much from them. You might as well just put it on your own website and see if we can generate something through social media is what you would do. Just use your LinkedIn and Instagram and other connections to try to find people that would show support at some level. They vote for it. They say they like it. They vote for it and say they'll do something in the future. There's some level of support that we can draw from that gives people confidence. Because if we go to people in New York and we can't get anybody to sign up, that's tough. They really want to see that, yeah, there's a lot of people supporting this and they're
Yeah.
doing this and that. So I think we just need to have a deck that has more of that story in it. I think typically I get these decks, especially real estate, and it's all about the land and the facility and the dimensions and the costs and the payback, and that's important. But what I don't get out of that is who is supporting it and who is behind it. And you have those three funds that'll put money in when you get to a certain stage. You want to put that in a big way. So typically, there's tax breaks in here, and you want to outline those. What are the tax breaks? And you have the two different kinds: affordable housing and the what was like affordable housing, but it's not. Those are the things you want to put the tax breaks in there as well. Is that in the deck now or no?
No, that's not currently in the deck.
Okay. So that's the thing you want to do is put that in the deck as well to show people this is what we're doing, to show people how that works. And what you want to do is try to get in there and show that you're not by yourself. You have all the support around you. You have all these great investors that are going to be coming in, and you have these great tax breaks and all that's there. Because, like I say, the vast majority of decks I see are very specific to the project, just the nuts and bolts of it and so forth. And that's useful to have. But what we don't have is, well, who else behind it? And that's why we're not getting a lot of interest from investors, is that we just haven't demonstrated support from these other people, which I think is there, but we really haven't surfaced it on the deck just yet or included it in. So I think I'd put, if you want to put that together and send it to me, I would glad to give you some feedback on it. Just email it to me and say this is all the support I can find, and I can give you some feedback on how do we make this more interesting to other people. And then we can go back after. It sounds like you have a good list of investors, but if you're not getting any feedback, usually it means that people are not, there's something not working for them. Sometimes it's the fact that there's not enough support. Other times it's there's the valuation's not in market. It's kind of out of market. Or three, people there's not enough information to really understand what it is. Real estate, I think most people understand. So I don't think it's that. I think it's really the support thing at this point that
Okay.
we need to do for it.
Okay,
But yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, well, send me the deck that you have, and like I say, put as much support in there as you have, even if it's future. Put that down, and the tax breaks, and let's make the case that this is a good deal, and then I think we'll get more people coming in.
Okay. Should I also include for you in that email the link to the fundraising thing, or
Yeah, I'd love to see what that looks like. What platform is it on?
like I said, I'm not completely sure what's the name of. I'm not good with computer programs.
Okay. Well, if
Funding
it's in the
for
deck,
me
yeah,
or
I'll find it in the
fund
deck
for
then.
me or something like that. Yeah,
It's like what?
funding for me or come fund me or something. It's not GoFundMe. It's the other
Oh, it's
one
like
that
that.
works
I
with
got you.
South Africa. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see what that looks like and see where that goes. Um, yeah, no, if you're doing affordable housing, the people that benefit are the people that, need housing. And if that's not on your mailing list, well then that's how we're not matching into it at this point, I guess. So I think that's one of the key issues. But like I say, send it to me and let's see how we can make this more interesting to other investors who would look at it from a financial point of view, because a lot of people want to do things like this, but we just have to have the right message for them.
Sounds like a plan. I'll
All
get
right.
that together for you and I'll send it over as soon as I'm ready with it.
Sounds good. Thanks so much. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
Investor Connect helps investors interested in startup funding. In this podcast series, experienced investors share their experience and advice. You can learn more at investorconnect.org. Halty Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions.